สวัสดีครับเป็นไงอะโอ้คุณพ่อเคยมีเพื่อนเป็นฝรั่งไหม
มีลุงติ๊บนี่แหละ
คนเดียว
คนแรกแล้วเป็นคนไม่ค่อยชอบฝรั่ง
โอ้จริงเหรอจะเปลี่ยนใจแล้วเจอสตีฟเปลี่ยนใจแล้วโอ้นี่นะสตีฟแกงUse I have no idea what to do with this, but I love it and I want it in the video, so there it is. I like this one okay. It's helping me work through some stuff. Oh yeah, this is the one. I'm 12 years old again. I'm friends with this young woman. Oh, there's somebody joining me. Wati Kap. So I'm friends with this young woman. And I would use the word friend, like many of my friendships here that I've established over the last 5 months. It began as a transactional relationship. It has its foundation still in a transaction, but I think she would use the word pun to describe me, and I would use the same to describe her. She might call me P, elder sibling. She should call me Lung, uncle. But P carries a degree of intimacy. At any rate, I would call her a friend. Lovely woman, 28 years old, lovely young woman. Except that she has this tattoo on her back that goes from the nape of her neck to the bottom of her rib cage and side to side from shoulder to shoulder. It covers the whole upper part of her back. And it's just awful. It's a terrible, terrible tattoo. It was done by somebody who didn't know their business. And she's aware of it. It is incomplete. Big portions of it are not inked in yet. They're just lines. And then big portions are inked in a lot of dark ink on a dark-skinned girl. And you can't really tell what you're looking at for the most part. There's a face in there, and there's a samurai sword in there, and there's some flowers, and then there's other shapes that could be anything. She's not proud of it. And I asked her how long she's had it. She's 28. She got it when she was 18. And I said, are you going to finish it? And she said, no, it's going to waste money to finish it. And I said, why did you get it? And she said, "เป็นของขวัญเพื่อนให้มา." It's a gift that a friend gave me. And I thought, yeah, friendship leaves a mark. Sure it does. You know, isolation, I've talked about this before, isolation is a big part of the expatriate experience for most of us, for many of us. For some of us, it's what we seek. A few weeks ago, I was doing a video in which I was asking all the Farang I could find, do you use the bum gun? Do you use the bum gun? And I was at the market in Turtle Beach, and I see this Farang guy on a motorcycle, and he's at the curb. He's about to pull out into traffic. He's looking over his shoulder to see what traffic's coming. And I rush up to his offside. I rush up to his curb side to ask him my question, because that's how you introduce yourself to strangers in Steve's world. You ask them how they clean their butthole in public. So I rush up to this guy, dude. And he turns around and he looks at me with shock, and I said, I'm Steve Rosse. I have a YouTube channel. It's about Turtle Beach. Can I ask you one question for the camera? And he said, man, I live here because I don't want to talk to Farang. And he takes off on the bike. Never saw him again. So he's seeking it. He's seeking that isolation, and good on him. He's achieved it here on Turtle Beach. There are, I think, 9 other Farang on the beach, including myself. All of the others much wealthier than me, and all of them live on the beach. I live a mile from the beach. You can't live really on the beach. There's a beach road, and you can't build anything between the road and the sea. But inland of that road, you can build houses, and there are bungalows and big houses and stores and restaurants, really good seafood restaurants. So the other 8 guys, 7 or 8 guys, they live on there. There's an American couple, a man and a woman from Hawaii. There's a German guy. There's a British guy with a Thai wife. There's an Aussie guy with a Thai wife. There's another American with a Thai wife. And there's a 90-year-old Brit with a Thai wife. And they all live with somebody, and I live alone. But that sense of isolation is such, certainly for anybody who's moved to Turtle Beach, part of the reason you move here is to be isolated to some extent, because you have to know that's what you're getting. You know, it's printed on the ticket. This is the ass end of nowhere. This is the end of the line. Its name in Thai literally means the end of the line. It's the end of the road. And to come here, you have to know, you're not gonna hear English spoken unless you seek it out. So as it happens, every evening at sunset, a few of us go watch the sunset over the beach, over the sea. And there are public kiosks where you can sit and drink beer and talk and watch the sun go down every night. And some of us do seek out companionship as the sun goes down for an hour a day, and it's very welcome. Now, I don't have a lot in common with these guys. Most of them are much wealthier than me. Most of them, back in the world, we would not have traveled in the same circles. We would not have been antagonistic if we met, but we would have, never met. They went places I didn't go, and I went places they didn't go. Unless they came and volunteered at the local community theater, we would not have met. But here, I would call them friends, and I hope they would feel free to call me a friend as well. By the same token, I'd like, I'll mention this. When I was asking that question, I was going around and I was looking for Farang, and they're scarce as hen's teeth. And somebody said, one friend said, I know this other guy, this German guy down in Kokloy, and you can come down to his house. Why don't you come down on Friday and see him and ask him your question? Well, I forgot, and Friday came, someone offered me a ride to Phuket. I went to Phuket for the weekend. I came back, and this friend comes over to the house, and he says, this German guy, he was upset you didn't show up on Friday night. He bought cheese. And you didn't show up. So you're 86th. you're not allowed to come to his house now. I said, who? What? I never met the guy, and I'm 86 from his house. Apparently, we were friends for a nanosecond, and now we're not friends, by God. So, who knows about friendship? I'll tell you one last thing. I like reading a lot. Before I moved to Thailand the first time in the 1980s, I went to the New York Public Library, read every book I could find about Thailand in the 42nd Street branch in a year, and I did a lot of reading in that year. And I made friends who were dead authors. You know, if you're a reader, you feel a relationship to people. You know, J.D. Salinger, Hemingway, for me. Never felt anything for Faulkner, nothing. But Tom Robbins, loved Tom Robbins. So at any rate, so there were two authors I read early on, and I'll just tell you who they are. They're friends. They're friends to me. I've read their books lots of times. And they're people to me, old friends who are gone now. One is Carol Hollinger, who wrote a book called My Pen Rai Means Never Mind. She was the wife of the CIA station chief for a couple years in the 60s. They came from Hawaii. She spent 2 years in this country. She was a trailer spouse, what they call a trailer spouse. And they found her a job teaching at Chula, and she just fell in love with Thailand, fell in love with her students, and had 2 beautiful, wonderful years here that she chronicled in a book called My Pen Rai Means Never Mind. And there was a day when every expat, every person who wanted to make a life in Thailand would have read My Pen Rai Means Never Mind at least once. And poor Carol, she died of a cerebral aneurysm 1 week before her book hit the shelves. She never knew that it was a classic in the genre, that hundreds of thousands of people's impressions of Thailand would be cemented by her writing. She never knew. She died. And her husband, in his grief, signed away the rights to, I think, DK Books or Asia Books, and the family never made a penny. It's still in print today. You can still get it. I hope you do. The other friend is an author named Jack Reynolds, who wrote a book about Thailand called A Woman of Bangkok. He had been for many years, he ran a fleet of ambulances in China after the war, till the commies kicked him out. And he was a midwife. He was a rural midwife in China in the 1940s. And he came to Bangkok, he married a woman, he had 9 children. I think there are still sort of elderly Luke Krung in the advertising industry in Bangkok named Reynolds. But he wrote this one book. He wrote a book about China, he wrote a book about Wales, and he wrote a book about Thailand. His book about Thailand is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful book. And the reason I came here, I found a copy of this book, I read it, and less than a year later I was on a plane bound for Thailand. And here we are today. So thanks to Jack Reynolds. The book was published in 1957, the year I was born, and unfortunately for Mr. Reynolds, it was published the same year as a book called The World of Susie Wong. And 2 Bar Girl with a Heart of Flint stories, one in Hong Kong, one in Bangkok. The one in Hong Kong became a Broadway play, introduced the world to William Shatner in the lead role, became a movie, won all kinds of awards. Everybody knows The World of Susie Wong. Nobody knows A Woman of Bangkok. That's because The World of Susie Wong ends with Susie giving up all her power. She starts the book a businesswoman in business for herself, her own employer, and powerful. She has agency, she makes decisions, she's raising a child. And by the end of the book, she's the plaything. She's destroyed, she's utterly crushed. And she's the plaything of this Brit, this white male. And he marries her, she's the wife of, but she is, an adornment in his life. And the public was a lot more ready for that plot than they were for A Woman of Bangkok, which ends with the bar girl absolutely destroying the Farang, just crushing him, leaving him an utter wreck, and going on about her life as if she had never met him. And a lot of guys are still not ready for that story. A lot of guys walk into that story, don't they? But yeah, so Jack Reynolds and Carol Hollinger, 2 friends who've left marks on Steve Rosse. That's it. My time is up. Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, share. Come visit Turtle Beach. We could use the business. and I will see you next week.
There's no way I could go back to Australia because any young child that misbehaves, whack, whack, whack. That puts you in jail, man.
Well,
You can't do that.
no, I don't think you can. It's probably for the best you live on Turtle Beach then.
For many reasons.
Many indeed.
I couldn't put up with the feminism. I couldn't put up with the politically correct attitude to every... Jesus, mate. It was a great country once.
And Peter, what do you think about that?
I've been once to Australia. Beautiful. Enjoyed it.
Speaking of politically correct, thank you. Gentlemen, I thank you both.
Trump could move to Australia, run for King of Australia, and be elected within 24 hours.
I would vote for him for King of Australia in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
I would do that to Australia.
Yeah. I don't know them shit, right? I don't know them shit. Here, you take this guy.